Thomas Jefferson is one of the most well-known founding fathers. He is known for his authorship of the Declaration of Independence and his involvement in politics from the state level in Virginia to the federal level within the Continental Congress and later on with the presidency. Whether you like him or not, there is no denying his influence on the founding of America. He left a mark not only on the country through politics, but even through the architecture of his homes, as well as the University of Virginia. You're able to tour both his main home, located in Charlottesville, called Monticello, and his secondary residence in Bedford County, called Poplar Forest. Both homes were plantations that he inherited. He owned several plantations that built these homes only on two of the property. His homes are known for their architecture. He also designed much of the original architecture within the University of Virginia. He did work on Monticello for about 40 years as he designed and redesigned the structure, developing it to his liking, as he was not fond of the architecture in Virginia. He was self-taught with architecture as he loved to read books and traveled, taking in classical architecture and other influences. Poplar Forest became a retreat for him and a place to escape the limelight and politics as he grew older. They are both similarly designed in structure, and many people still visit the homes today. Not only was he also the author of the Declaration of Independence, but he wrote the Statute of Virginia for Religious Freedom. He also founded the University of Virginia, as was mentioned, and did eventually become the third president of the United States. He did also serve as the governor of Virginia from 1779 until 1781. He served other various public offices, from being a member of the House of Burgesses in Virginia to also being the Secretary of State, as well as the Vice President. During his first term as president, he purchased the Louisiana Territory, greatly increasing the land mass of the United States, and he also did support Lewis and Clark's expedition out west. The thing that is probably the most contradictory about Thomas Jefferson is his views on slavery. He was openly opponent of slavery, yet he was a slave owner. It's been said he's had between 200 and 600 slaves, though he did eventually free about 2 during his life, and then several more in his will, and then did go after some that ran away. He did also get involved in legislation to end slavery, proposing a law in Virginia to prohibit the importation of African slaves in 1778. And in 1784, he proposed a law that would ban slavery in the Northwest ordinances. He felt that abolition had to be part of the democratic process, but that it was not the federal government's responsibility to do so, and was actually against the principles of the American Revolution. He did advocate for gradual emancipation all the way up until his death, maintaining that the first step had to be stopping the slave trade in Africa, and then said that slave owners should also change how they treated the slaves, and eventually then emancipate those who had been born into slavery at a certain time, again, then followed by the total abolition. Some actually used this argument that slavery could be improved for it to be maintained. Though he wanted to end slavery, he was scared that a war would break out. It was a large-scale emancipation, and he also felt that war would break out if the slaves were kept in bondage, which can actually be seen with the Civil War that happened later on. To add to the confusion in regards to his stance on slavery, there has also been question as to whether or not he had a child or multiple children with one of his slaves, Sally Hemings. The discussion continues to go back and forth. The University of Virginia has done research, and there have been different studies on it, but the jury's still out on it. Of all the things that Jefferson was known for, he wanted to be remembered for the things that were listed on his tombstone. Here was buried Thomas Jefferson, author of the Declaration of Independence, of the Statute of Virginia for Religious Freedom, and father of the University of Virginia. These were the accomplishments that he was most proud of and the legacy that he wanted to leave.